What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Agent00sonic, and today we will be drawing Black WarGreymon. For those that do not know who that is, or what it is, or where it came from, no worries, I'll take care of all that in the video that's going to follow this intro. Man, I could have really done that better. Oh, well, let's get to the video.
Alright, so let's get started. This character comes from the Japanese anime television series Digimon Adventure 2, or commonly known in most territories, United States especially, the second season to Digimon, Digital Monsters, which first aired March 7th, 1999, and the second season airing roughly a year later on April 2nd, 2000, and respectively later that year in the US. To keep continuity, I'll be referring both series as they were released in the United States, and as I saw them growing up personally as Season 1 and 2. A rough summary of the premise of the first season. There were 7 kids at summer camp that were transported from the real world into the digital world by devices called Digivices. Simple enough. Upon arrival, these 7 kids befriend 7 monsters, 1 per kid, who, with the Digivices, aid their Digimon partners to Digivolve, aka change into their stronger forms and fend off enemies. They acquire a crest, which allowed their partners to evolve even further, which comes in handy because later on in the season, as they're trying to find a way back home to the real world, the 7 kids learn that they are the Digi-Destined, chosen to save the digital world from a plethora of enemies, including the hierarchy of stronger to the ultimate enemy, the final boss, the final battle. The two worlds, the real world and the digital world, begin to intertwine once the 8th Digi-Destined child is discovered. It was up to all 8 of them to save both worlds. Once the final showdown concludes, the Digi-Destined depart to the real world and their Digimon partners are left behind in the now safe digital world. Okay, in the second season, 4 years have passed and the digital world is in peril from another evil force that are using dark control spirals that negate Digivolution. The previous season of Digi-Destined children show up periodically, and a few are reoccurring in the season, but a group of new Digi-Destined children and their Digimon now evolved by newer versions of the Digivices and new objects that mirror the crests from the first season called Digi-Eggs. Later on in the second season, another form of Digivolution is discovered called DNA Digivolution, which allows 2 Digimon to merge into a stronger one. Similar to the first season, there is a hierarchy of enemies, and upon reaching the final boss, whose strength calls upon all the Digi-Destined children of the real world and a noble sacrifice that allows them to defeat this foe. This brings a conclusion to the end of the season and an epilogue of 25 years later where Digimon and human live together. I know, that's all cool and all, but what does that have to do with this drawing, with this character? I am glad you asked. Now that you have a bit of a background, ladies and gents, this is where we get to Black WarGreymon. This Digimon was created by one of the formidable foes of the Digi-Destined in Season 2, who ended up using 100 of those control spires to create Black WarGreymon. The intent of his creation was to destroy both the real world and the digital world, but due to the nature of his creation, he mirrored that of a tormented soul looking for his purpose in life. He was seen questioning his existence, his meaning, where did he come from, ideals and concepts that showed his brilliance, also the innate ability to see his mistakes. Don't get me wrong, he was stubborn too, and once he was on a mission, he was on it. His strength in battle made him nearly indestructible and invincible, and even came close to defeating the Digi-Destined, but due to his intelligence, defied his creator's instructions to do so. He would go on throughout the season in a constant battle with himself and finding his purpose in life, encountering upon other enemies and fighting them, and into the real world to kill the man who caused him all this grief, but was talked out of doing so. Black WarGreymon would go and become mortally wounded by taking the full force of an attack that was targeted at one of the Digi-Destined's family members from the season's strongest villain. His last moment of life was using his remaining strength to seal the villain off from re-entering the digital world in order for the Digi-Destined to defeat the villain once and for all. It was at this point that he had truly found his purpose in life, and that is the story of Black WarGreymon.
Alright, here it is. Here's the final product. Hopefully you enjoy. I thoroughly enjoyed working on this one. I will not lie, it took a lot longer than I expected because I thought it was pretty basic, but then I realized it involved a lot of line work and a lot of inking. Hopefully you enjoy. I think it came out pretty well. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. That's where you leave comments at. Alright, well, time for the outro. Peace, love, and hot sauce, and as always, thanks for watching. Also, look at the shirt I'm wearing. Shout out to Suli. I'll put her link in the channel below. I thought it was pretty cool. Look at this. It literally describes me. Okay, yeah, we gotta go.